Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for hopping on this call. Not sure what happened to the meeting that I recorded previously. So we're going to do it again. We're going to run it back. I want to make sure that everybody has updated, information about what's going on, where they're going to be for the showcase, and all that jazz. So sending this out to you all. Feel free to follow up via text or call me if you have any questions, so I can clarify for you all. And we're going to start with that logistics sheet that I gave everybody the first time we met, just so everybody is clear. So let's get started with that. Can you all see my screen? Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to go through this a little quicker than we did previously. Like I said, since this is more of a review of information than us going through it or seeing it for the first time. And for those of you who have done the showcase before, a lot of it is very similar, the same process, you just maybe in a different room or something of that nature. So we will start with the Shining Stars room. This is our preschool program, ages 3 to 5. We have Natalie, Erica, and Cece which is our staff. And then because Natalie is in the preschool room, but she also has classes for the superstars ages 6 to 8, she will pop in and out as needed if she needs to assist with choreography for her other classes as they're coming on and off the stage. But she will be in that room for the most part. And then Erica, one of our newer teachers, and Cece, who is a sub for us. Lisa and Courtney will be in the superstars room, and Zara and Kiana will be in the junior/senior showstopper dressing room. I am also going to work on getting TV and Wi-Fi access for that dressing room, because I found out too late last time we were in this space that they told us that we would have streaming capabilities everywhere, but unfortunately the room where the junior and seniors were, there was no TV in that space. So I'm going to make sure that you all have Wi-Fi access and a TV to be able to stream, because I want parents to see their dancer perform, and it's also helpful so you know where we are in the show order and all of that. Javen, who is a student of mine at Shaker, will be assisting Mr. Keith, the theater manager, with the music, lights and sound for the stage. Kendra will be on headset to communicate with Mr. Keith and Javen, and Marcus and Miss Mary will be in the holding area to make sure that classes are in position at least 2 dances before they need to be on the stage. So that day, everybody is going to have a copy of the show order so you all know where we are. Most of those people will also be backstage, so it'll be easy for you to follow along with that show order to know exactly where we are, so you know which classes you need to retrieve to make sure that they are already in place before it's actually time for them to get on stage. Forgot to say, as dancers are dropped off, they will be escorted to their assigned dressing rooms by Miss Ashley, our production manager. Amen. So as soon as dancers come into the dressing rooms, as you are receiving them, you are checking for a couple of things. You want to make sure that your dancers have on tights, and that their tights are underneath their costume. That way the tights can stay on throughout the entire show, regardless of how many costume changes they have. So making sure that their tights are on underneath their costume. Also making sure that all of the dancers have showcase face done. So foundation, gold eyeshadow, thin strip of eyeliner, and dark red lip. And this is optional. The only class that this is optional for are our preschoolers. So ages 3 to 5, it's optional. But ages 6 and up, everybody needs showcase face. And every dancer, regardless of age, also needs showcase hair. So pulled up into a bun. It can be their natural hair. It can be French braided up. It can be box braid, secure with hairpins. However their hair is done, as long as it is done all the way up into a bun or a puff at the very top of their head. No bangs, no curly tendrils or anything like that. We don't want anything to take away from just their overall performance and the uniformity of their showcase space. Thankfully, everybody has their costumes for the most part. There's a few things that we needed to order. And so those things will be in the costume box. So as soon as if there's a dancer that needs something, those things will already be in their assigned dressing room labeled for them so that they have everything that they need. Keep in mind that dancers will not get their hoodies until the actual day of the showcase. We've had instances in the past where we've given them out early and they were misplaced and things like that. And so it's very important for us to all be uniform for our group picture after the bow. And so dancers will not get their hoodie until the day of the showcase, which is December 16th. I need a volunteer to bring in the half size case of water bottles, and making sure that none of the dancers drink the water until the actual show starts. If they drink it before, they'll have to leave and go to the bathroom, which could throw off our timeline with us doing a production and having lines and specific placements where everyone needs to be in a timely fashion. This could, throw us off really bad, and we don't want that. So no water until the show actually starts. Also, once the dancers start performing, they're going to need that water after the fact. So to drink it prior to means they may not have it when they actually need it, once they're out of breath and trying to gather themselves. Anytime a dancer leaves the dressing room for whatever reason, they need to be accompanied by an adult. Once they are dropped off that first time, family is not allowed in the back. It's a huge distraction, especially for the younger dancers. Our dressing rooms are also a little small, and so there's not space to hold everybody. So just please remind them for the dress rehearsal, they can just drop off their dancer and they don't have to come back until 2. And for the day of the showcase, they can go to the vendor area and shop with our local vendors, support Black business, and all that jazz. We'll start warming up at 10:30 for about 15 to 20 minutes. During that time, parent volunteers and staff can also peruse the vendor tables if they want, for about 15 minutes, just being back in enough time to receive the dancers once they're done with warm-up so that they can be escorted back to their dressing rooms. We don't want any dancer unattended, whether they're going to the bathroom or whatever, just making sure that we have everybody accounted for, because it's way too easy for them to wander off and now we don't know where they are. That's just a very anxiety provoking feeling that we do not want to experience for the dress rehearsal or the show. There will be dress show orders in each dressing room. We will also have this sheet, this logistics form that I'm reading off of for you all so that you have it as a reference point if you need to review some information regarding how you're assisting the dancers backstage. And that's pretty much it. We only have about 2 pieces in between each number, which is the equivalent of about 6 minutes. And that's being generous, which is another reason why it's so important for us to keep the dancers' tights on, even if they are performing, even if their costume doesn't call for tights. A lot of our dancers, especially the older dancers, are performing multiple times. And so they need to keep those tights on. It'll just make your lives so much easier when you are helping them change. Tights stay on, even for hip hop, even for costumes that don't require tights. So there's that. Also, once the show has started, no bathroom breaks unless it's in an absolute emergency, which there should not be because we didn't drink any water previously, so we don't need to go to the bathroom. And so here's the breakdown. Oh, and after the showcase is over, adults are going to escort the dancers back to the space, making sure that we have cleaned up all clutter, making sure the dancers have all of their costumes, their footwear, any accessories that are needed as a part of their costume, and making sure that each dancer goes home with their specific costumes. We've asked family members, parents, to label the tags of the costumes, not the actual costume, but labeling the tags. So it's going to be very important that they do that. Also, all of the dancers' names are on their bags, so it should make it a little bit easier for everybody to keep up with their individual costumes, because everybody has the same costume. So as long as it's labeled and it goes into their bag as soon as it comes off their body, hopefully we'll be able to minimize the risk of things being lost or switched with another dancer. So after everybody goes back to the show, goes back to the dressing rooms because the show is over, do a last minute sweep. We'll have garbage bags provided for you all so you can throw away anything that needs to be thrown away. And then those costume boxes that served to give dancers what they needed, anything that they were missing in the beginning of the show, those boxes will then turn into lost and found boxes at the end of the show in case anything is left behind, so that we can get it back to those dancers. So the timeline for that day, actually both days, dress rehearsal and the day of the show, volunteers and staff arrive at 9:30 to help set up to receive the dancers. Dancers are dropped off between 10 to 10:30. During that time, the vendor expo is also happening for the showcase only. They won't be there for the dress rehearsal. And then at 10:30, all the dancers go into the auditorium to warm up. By 10:50, 11 o'clock, they should be gradually going back into the auditorium, back into their dressing rooms, unless their teacher requests that they stay behind just to make some last minute tweaks to choreography. By 11:15, all dancers are back into their dressing rooms to get situated. 11:45, the first two dancers are going to be backstage, so we can start at 12. Show is supposed to last for about an hour and a half, and then we depart. Yeah. Any questions so far about that? I know it was a lot of information. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Fantastic. Okay. So last thing, and this is specifically for those who will be backstage with me, either on headset comms or those who will be retrieving dancers from their dressing rooms, or Ms. Ashley, our production manager, going over this show order. So really quick, did this make sense to follow along when we did our run through this week at the studio?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So the main thing I need you all to pay attention to is just these notes, because some of these, so the actors are Mr. Torrance and Harper, but then some of the dancers are going to go back and forth between performing their piece and being actors in the production. And so for the notes, that's what most of those notes are going to entail. So just like we're going to be pulling the dancers at least two pieces in advance to make sure that they are in place in time for their performance, we need to do that with those dancers who are going to be acting in the production as well. And so I made sure to put the age group of whatever dancer is going to be interacting with the other actors during that scene, so we know what room to pull them from so they can be ready and all of that. Anything that's highlighted in this bright green indicates a scene change, and so the curtains will close so that you all can help me change the scene over to whatever is going to be happening for that next scene. So from the first one, everything stays the same except we add a couch because the scene changes to her going to bed and then checking on the Nutcracker. Then this scene, we're changing into the snow forest, so that I have some snow flocked trees, and we have some fake snow that'll be draped on top of our the box that they came in to create like hills and snow. Really cute. And then the next one, we keep the trees and the snow on the stage, and then we just attach the lollipops, gumdrops, and candy canes. There will be Velcro on the lollipops, on the gumdrops, and also on the snow. So like the soft part will go to that sticky part. So we don't have to worry about tape. We just stick it on with the Velcro. I've learned the hard way that Velcro works a lot better than tape. And then this last one, we go back to the original scene, which is the very first scene that we were in at the very beginning of the production. I'm going to send this order out to everybody because the costume and the footwear columns are what the parents need to pay attention to, so they know what their dancers' costumes looks like, and they have all of them accounted for when the dancers are dropped off, because they need to have everything with them when they arrive. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. I tried to make it as seamless as possible. Do you guys have any questions about any of the information that was communicated to date?
Nope.
Fantastic. So yeah, I will so once we were recording this video, I'm going to put it up on our YouTube channel and then also send the link to everybody in a group chat, so everybody who was participating, helping backstage or in some capacity volunteering. I will send the show order, the showcase logistics, and the recording of this meeting to you all. And feel free to follow up with me if you have any other questions. Peace.